We finally have more details about President Donald J. Trump's stimulus check that Trump announced few days ago for millions of low and middle income Americans, and the development is shocking as finally this bill is getting traction. Stimulus check 2025 update. Senators are finally discussing Trump's rebate proposal, and it means the first hurdle is about to be passed, and then there will be two new hurdles, means voting and President Donald J. Trump's signature. What's going on with this stimulus check? When can you expect this stimulus check, and how much it's going to be? I'm gonna give you each and every detail, but all I need is just a little favor. It takes 2 seconds to please hit that like button on this video. So without any further ado, let's start the video. Few days ago, President Donald J. Trump announced the possibility of new tariff rebate stimulus checks for millions of low and middle income Americans. And now things are looking really good for these stimulus checks, and especially for millions of struggling Americans. And the reason is simple, because now the debate has started. Look at this. Stimulus checks 2025 update. Senators discusses Trump's rebate proposal, and the details are really important. Well, look at this. President Donald J. Trump's tariff agenda could be used to provide stimulus checks to Americans. One Republican lawmaker has proposed, though the idea has failed to inspire some of his fellow Republicans. Shortly into the second term in the White House, Trump announced that he would increase levies on international goods being brought into the US to usher the golden age of America. And you need to understand that according to President Donald J. Trump, billions and billions of dollars are pouring into the American economy, and now it's time to give some sort of relief to low and middle income Americans. Well, President Donald J. Trump was talking to reporters, where one reporter asked that what you gonna do with the money that you are receiving because of these reciprocal tariffs, and he said that we are thinking to give a portion of it to millions of low and middle income Americans, but we will use most of it to pay down debt, which is a great thing, because if the debt will come down, the inflation will come down, and it will be great for millions of Americans. But right here, we want to specifically stick to this stimulus check and its details. Well, after President Donald J. Trump announced the possibility of these new tariff rebate stimulus checks for Americans, Josh Hawley introduced a new legislation, and with the President Donald J. Trump's approval. You need to remember this, because President Donald J. Trump talked about it. Josh Hawley introduced this bill, and under this bill, $600 will be given to every individual who makes $75,000 and less. $600 will be given to every child, means every dependent, and $1,200 will be given to a couple who make $150,000 and less. Now, the biggest question is that what if an individual makes more than $75,000, or if a couple makes more than $150,000, then what? Well, then there will be a 5% deduction in this new stimulus tariff rebate check. But you need to understand, as this is a great news, that a family of 4 can receive $2,400 under this new bill. $2,400 is a lifeline for millions and millions of Americans who are struggling right now in this worst inflation. And this is not it. Well, there are several proposals that are on the table right now, but no one is talking about it. Right now, senators started debating on this new stimulus legislation that has been presented and introduced by Josh Hawley. And when we go towards more details, Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, has proposed using the revenue from tariffs to provide direct payments to millions of Americans. According to Hawley, so far in 2025, tariffs have generated more than $100 billion for the US. And you know, if this administration wants to give this money to Americans, it will cost around $24 to $36 billion according to a number of analysts and experts. But you need to understand, in order to direct this money to Americans, Congress needs to approve it. Yes, first this bill will go to Senate, then House, and after the voting, if it passed, then it will go to President Donald J. Trump and he will sign on it. Because remember, President Donald J. Trump himself announced the possibility of these new $600 stimulus checks for low and middle income Americans, and he will certainly sign on it. That's what a number of lawmakers and senators are saying. You need to understand that right now Americans are struggling. Around 800,000 people are homeless. This is a population of many countries, but a number of lawmakers and senators are saying it's time to give some sort of relief to Americans, and this $600 is an answer to that inflation. But there is one thing that is very important. At the same time, a number of analysts and experts, including a huge number of Americans, are saying that $600 is peanut in front of the difficulties that we are facing right now in this inflation. This check should be at least $2,000. Let me repeat it. This check should be at least $2,000 for millions of struggling Americans, and it should be parallel to the inflation right now, because the prices of groceries are up by 21% in the past 3 years, according to the recent report from Gallup. And the increase that they have received means low income individuals and family received in their food stamps and seniors received in their benefits just 2.5% this year in 2025. Now there is a need to give $2,000 to these struggling Americans. And one thing is very important, that when it comes to this $2,000 check, it will certainly change a lot of things for millions of those Americans who are struggling to pay their rent, struggling to pay their mortgage, struggling to put 3 meals a day for themselves and their loved ones. And a number of seniors and disabled Americans are unable to buy their prescriptions because they simply don't have the means for it. And this $2,000 will not solve all of their problems, but it will give them a breathing room. Because remember, still in 2025, around 5 million seniors receive below poverty level checks from Social Security Administration. 40 million seniors rely on Social Security checks alone, and just in July 2025 the inflation went up to 2.7% just in July alone, which is itself a record, because past year it was only 2.1%. Just imagine inflation going up by 2.7% in 1 month. What's in it in the future? This is what a number of analysts and experts are worried about. And one thing that we all need to ask you right here, are you satisfied with this $600 one-time tariff rebate stimulus check, or would you like to see a $2,000 stimulus check just as millions and millions of Americans received during the pandemic? Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about it and what is your opinion about it. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.